Sea level rise is already occurring. Over the past 100 years, the sea level in Boston Harbor has increased by about 1 foot. And over the next 100 years or even less, we expect to see between 4 and 10 additional feet of sea level rise. Storms can cause flooding in low-lying areas of the city and surrounding neighborhoods, and that can impact people's homes, it can impact their cars, and it can impact their ability to get to and from work, school, or their offices. When floods come from the ocean onto land, sometimes bring with them pollution, but more consequential is when they actually pick up pollution that's in our environment already and bring it out into the water, and that can harm fish and other natural systems. And also, as flooding comes into neighborhoods, it can fill up the sewer system. When the sewer system fills up, sewage can actually come into the streets, it can back up into people's homes and their basements, and that has some health consequences as well. Those storms are becoming more frequent, and what has happened is that systems like the aquarium station have had to invest in systems, flood barriers, to protect the station from flooding. So there are already plans in place for areas like East Boston, which is the most vulnerable neighborhood in terms of population and in terms of environmental justice populations. And then there are other areas like the downtown area, as well as the North End and Dorchester behind me. Making the choice to take public transit has a really big benefit in terms of reducing emissions. The MBTA has invested a lot of money to make their system green and energy efficient and use renewable energy. So it's a very important choice for people to make. Solutions to coastal flooding are a variety. The first one, of course, is to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. Another one is, of course, protecting the coastline, so stopping flooding from coming into the neighborhoods and coming into the infrastructure. That requires raising the shoreline. It requires things like seawalls. So there are lots of operational things that we can do. So for buses and for trains to have alternative routes that avoid flooded areas. There's the stakeholders in the greater Boston area that should be concerned and should have a role in charting our future plans for coastal flooding is basically everybody. So a few years ago, I was searching for a house to buy in the greater Boston area, and I bought a house way up on a hill, but in a neighborhood that is vulnerable to flooding. I think it's important to sort of walk the talk, and so I'm looking at my own neighborhood and advocating for solutions so that we can get in and out of this neighborhood during coastal flooding events.